know that what are the components of this particular magnetron there. That's why we need to draw a diagram. For the given magnetron. Welcome to the micro engineering course. Today we learn that a magnetron here. So there are that magnetron basically it is used for the purpose of oscillations here. So we can use that magnetron as an oscillator there. And a magnetron generally it consists of a cathode, anode there, and that anode is nothing but a cavity there. Anode cavities are there. It needs it needs a coupling that is probe coupling to the one of the cavity so that whatever the oscillation generated in that magnetron that can be uh, taken out from the magnetron there. Okay, so that is about your output coupling required to the given magnetron. So generally magnetron consists of what? If you see the diagram, I'll share the PPT now. So the PPT here. Okay, that's about how the magnetron. Magnetron generally we can consist of different types of anodes we have used in this magnetron there. And if you see that they based on these different types of magnetron, they have a type of a magnetron. Is the structure of the anode is looks like a cylindrical, so that's why it is called as a cylindrical magnetron. Or we have a cavity that is a cylindrical cavity there inside this particular magnetron. Now, how those cylindrical cavities are there? So now, if you see that how the cylindrical cavities are looks like this one. Okay, so we have the cavities there. These are nothing but the cavities there, and this one is nothing but your cathode. Okay, so we consider that a magnetron here, type of magnetron here we can consider that about a cylindrical magnetron. Now there are the ways. Okay, there are the different types of anode cavities there present, and based on that anode cavities, we can say that different types of operations possible in this particular magnetron there. Okay, so now we will learn that how it works now. So before that, we should know that what we have learned earlier. We have learned that that TWT. Okay, we have learned that a klystron there. Okay, we have learned that reflex klystron, and both are the types of a linear tube or a O-type tube. Now this one is a cross-field tubes, that is about M-type tubes. In the cross-field tubes, or we can say that's about M-type tubes, what happened? That electric field component and magnetic field components are perpendicular to each other, or we can say that is about a cross. That's why we can say that's about a cross-field tube. So in this M-type tubes, we will learn the magnetron. Okay, so our aim is about to learn that a magnetron, and that cavity is present in that. That is about a reentrant cavities, and that reentrant cavity is there. An oscillation takes place inside that particular cavity, so that's why RF oscillation, or you can say that's about a noise, and due to that, that cavities are called as a resonant cavities. Okay, so then that structure is a resonance structure. So if you consider that given particular magnetron, because of that RF oscillation takes place, electron propagating from this cathode, they provide the energy to the RF field, so that's why oscillation takes place there. And if that cavity loss and whatever the RF oscillation generated, it is same, then a sustained oscillation is takes place generated there in this given magnetron there. Now we will learn here the fact of the magnetron. Other components are there. Okay, this we will not learn here. Only we will learn that about a magnetron or what are the various types of the magnetron. The magnetrons are classified based on the whatever the anode, what type of a anode we have. You can say that anode we just consider that is about a category that is we can say a split anode magnetron, cyclotron, frequency magnetron, and traveling wave magnetron. Now these are the types of magnetron, and that magnetron depending upon that what type of a anode we have used inside this magnetron there. So that's why they have the type of a magnetron there. Now, if you consider that a split anode magnetron, it uses a static negative resistance between the anode segments. and it generally operates at a frequency below the micro range. Okay, and if you consider that the cyclotron frequency there, frequency magnetron, it will operate at the micro frequencies. However, with a low output power and a low efficiency. And in a traveling wave magnetron, bursts in the interaction of the electrons with a traveling RF field of a linear velocity and are customarily referred as a magnetron. Now, this one is a magnetron, traveling wave magnetron. Generally, people are used there. Now, in a traveling wave magnetron, what happened? That structure of that anode is nothing but what type is about a cylindrical one. So that's why they can be classified as a, we can say that cylindrical magnetron, planar or a linear magnetron, or you can say a coaxial magnetron, or you can say voltage tunable magnetron, or inverted coaxial magnetron and a frequency magnetron. There are the various types of a magnetron there. But if you consider only this type here, cylindrical magnetron, it consists of several reentrant cavities. Now these are nothing but the reentrant cavities. Now that reentrant cavity, and this one is nothing but a cathode. We excite this cathode, it emits the electron. Electron will reach to the anode. It has a positive supply here, so it will reach to the anode. So, so we should learn here what will be our electric field there and what will be the magnetic field position. If there is a no magnetic field, okay, if there is a no magnetic field, what happens? So electron, no magnetic field and no electric field there. Electron emit from this cathode and terminate at the anode there. But if there is a magnetic field, okay, then what happens that because of that magnetic field, electron will bend and bend toward the that cathode again. So, so at what value of that magnetic field, the electron will start bending and it will reach there. So we learn the schematic of this particular magnetron here, how that magnetron works. Generally, here it is mentioned that a DC voltage is applied between the cathode and anode, and a magnetic flux is applied in perpendicular to the electric field. Here, if you see that, this one is the magnetic field that will be perpendicular here, and if you consider here that electric field, because cathode negative, anode positive, electric field is opposite to this whatever the electron emits from the cathode, and that magnetic field is perpendicular to this particular electric field. So that's why you can say that it is about a cross field tube. And when electron emitted from this under the magnetic field, what happens? It will return back based on that whatever the we have. We can say that okay. So now we can consider that here. Now if you see that this one is about a cathode, it emits the electron. Okay, when it emits the electron, it will reach to the anode here because anode is a positive one. Now these are the cavities of this anode, and okay, okay, nearby to this particular cavity here, what happened? There is a this will be act as a C, and whatever the cavity portion, it will be act as a inductor. This overall, this cavity, okay, overall this cavity structure will act as what? A capacitance and a inductor. Means it is nothing but a tuned circuit. And from this cathode to anode, because since this cathode is a negative here and anode is a positive here, so in between that this will be act as a plate here. So again there will be capacitance. That capacitance will be parallel to the one of the cavity here. Now our diagram or equivalent circuit for this, it will be what? We have a capacitance, this capacitance here, this is we say C dash here, you can say C dash, and this capacitor L and C, this is for the cavity. So this C dash is a parallel to whatever the tuning circuit we have. This C dash here, you can say that capacitance and inductor. Now these about your equivalent circuits of your magnetron here. So means generally what happens here, we say that we have a capacitance from the cathode and it is a tuned circuit. Okay, this one is nothing but a tuned circuit here. This is a tuned circuit for a cavity. This is for the cavity here. So this capacitance from the cathode to the plate, or we can say anode, and this one is a tuned circuit, or we can say tuned circuit for the given whatever the cavity we have. So this L and C for the every cavity, this L and C is a constant. LC is a constant. But this C can be varied because the C is nothing but what? A interaction space. Okay, this is the interaction space there. That's why that interaction space varies. So C varies. What do you mean by that interaction space here? Now, from this from this cathode to anode, okay, from this cathode to anode, there is a interaction space here. Okay, this is about a interaction region or interaction space there. And this, if the distance increase or decrease, so C changes there. Okay, that. Now we have a scope to change the C here. That is about a C for your anode and cathode. And here we have a scope of changing the L and C based on this cavity there. Now this since the cavity is identical use in the magnetron there. So that's why what happened? If these cavities are identical, so LC is a constant there. So since LC is a constant, so RF noise generated, okay, RF noise generated, okay, at the mouth of whatever the cavity we have, that will be a constant there. Okay, that's about a RF noise is generated there. And due to this particular RF noise, RF field is exist. Okay, because of this RF noise, RF field exists. So now, okay, now all of you, yes. Now this is about your RF noise. So we can say that RF field exists. Now RF field exists means we have a cathode there. Okay, we have a cathode there, and we have a cavity. Okay, this is nothing but a cavity we say. Actually, it is even one. I'll try to draw in a circular fashion. Likewise. Okay. Sorry. This one is a cathode. Now, uh, now we can say that this is nothing but a cathode. It emits what? It emits the electron. Then that electron will reach to the cavity. Electron will reach to the cavity. Generally, these are not a six here. These are totally eight here. Eight cavities. So now it emits the electron. Then electron, when it emits the electron, it will reach to the anode because these are act as an anode here, and this one is nothing but a cathode. This cathode is a negative one, anode is about a positive one. But alternate here, because of whatever the field we have, alternately this changes. Okay, so now when electron emit from the cathode, okay, when electron emit from the cathode, so directly they will reach to the anode here, and this is nothing but the radius of what we can say that from this cathode to the anode there, radius. And this one is what we can say that about distance traveled by this electron from the cathode to the anode there. But if there is a no field, then directly they will terminate to the whatever the anode will. But what happen if this there is a field in a magnetron, okay, if there is a RF field, so means we can say that about the electric field from this, what we can say, from electron from cathode to the anode, and electric field is from the what we can say anode to the cathode, opposite here. And a magnetic field will be likewise, it is a perpendicular. Okay, if you see that the magnetic field will be perpendicular, and that how this magnetic field is generated, because around that we need to use a magnet, and this will provide, okay, you can say that this will provide a what we can say a that whole particular cavity we can excite to the whatever the magnet, okay, we can consider. So there, that's why there will be a magnetic field. That magnetic field and electric field is a perpendicular, means electron emit from the cathode, okay, when electron emit from the cathode, because of that there will be a force exerted on the electron through that what, through the electric, we can say that force exerted on this electron due to the electric field is minus E is nothing but a charge and E is the electric field. And force exerted on the electron due to the magnetic field is what? That is about the charge and a whatever the magnetic field is present. That is what we can say minus E V cross B. So total force exerted, because since the magnetron is there, it has a electric field as well as the magnetic field. So that's why a total force exerted on this electron is nothing but what? A combination of electric field force as well as the what you can say, sorry, minus combination of this B cross B. B is what? The velocity of the electron and B is the magnetic flux. Okay, this way we can say likewise. We have the magnetic flux which is perpendicular, magnetic field is perpendicular to this plane. Now, electron emits from the cathode. If there is a force of exertion through the electric field or a force of exertion through the magnetic field, so what happens? Electron try to bend it. If this force of exertion is a large, then what happens? Electron will bend and electron will reach to the cathode directly. And some of the electrons, okay, because here what happens? That acceleration and deceleration of that electron takes place there. That's why, because of that acceleration, okay, so electron velocity is increases and then they move faster and they will bend and they will reach to the cathode. And if that electron moving in a retarding field, electron move from this cathode and they reduces their velocity. Okay, they reduces their velocity and they will reach to the anode with a different timing. How? Okay, instead of directly reach to the anode, they will reach to this anode with a different, okay, with a different direction. Likewise, so it will take a more time to reach to the anode. And those electrons moving faster, they are accelerated. They will move faster and they will reach back to the cathode there. Okay, they will terminate the cathode. And those electrons move, electron moving in a retarding field, they are slower here and they will reach to the anode. Now, electron, these are the electron. Okay, this is the path of the electron. Those who are moving in a faster there, they will return to the cathode. Those who will move okay, slower there, okay, they will be come to the anode there. Now this is the path of the electron moving from the cathode to the anode here. Now this path, okay, this this is the path, or we can say that is the distance traveled by the electron from this cathode to this anode there. So this will take a more time. Means that electron will present in the field or in the interaction field a more time or a longer duration there. So that electron give up the energy to the RF field. Okay. That electron will give up the energy to the RF field, and those electrons, okay, those electrons will move directly toward the cathode. These electrons move directly toward the cathode. They will reach to the cathode. They will not give any energy to this RF field. Okay, only these electrons will give up the energy to the RF field. Okay, so because of that energy given to the RF field, that oscillation takes place. Okay, so now what happened here? This one is about your, you can say that these cavities. Okay, these are about the cavities, or you can say that anode, and these are nothing but a re-entrant cavities. We say, okay, or you can say that re-entrant cavity, or we can say that the about a slow wave structure, and these are okay, spacing between this cavity is constant there. So we can say that it's about a these cavities are equispaced here around the circumference. Okay, these cavities are equispaced around the circumference. Now, what happened there? There is a, we can say that about a DC voltage applied to this cavity. So that's why what happened there? There will be a field that is about, you can say that is about a, due to this DC voltage, there will be a field. We can say we have electric field, and we can say that is about a DC magnetic field. Okay, and the DC magnetic field is, electric field and magnetic field both are perpendicular here. Or you can say that this DC magnetic field is axial to this particular cathode. It's about a cathode here. You can say that this one is about a DC magnetic field and a electric field from the cathode to the anode. Okay, likewise. So that's why it is about a cross one. So in this, okay, you can say that the force exerted on the electron is nothing but what? It is depending upon that whatever the force exerted in a electric field and a force exerted in a magnetic field. So that is about a total force exerted. Now, how this force is exerted? Because electrons are moving. Okay, electrons are moving. So that's why that motion of electrons. Okay, because electrons are moving, that motion of electrons emitted from the cathode, and they will travel toward the anode there. But with the electric field and a magnetic field present in a space, this is nothing but a space. Okay, this one is nothing but the space. So that because of that space, there will be a resultant force, okay, applied to this particular electron there, and that force is nothing but what? Electric force and a magnetic force. So that's why we can say, we have learned earlier, okay, force exerted on a moving electron in an electric field and in an magnetic field. So this is about the force exerted on a electron in a electric field as well as a magnetic field. And this V is nothing but the velocity of the electron. So now these are the cavities, and we can say that they have that, we can say that about a some RF noise voltage there, and this RF noise voltage, because of that there will be some RF field is there. Okay, so that's I earlier we say RF field is there. So some of the electrons are accelerated there, and some of the electron retard. Okay, we can say that the accelerated electron, we can say that the body electron in a retarded field there. Okay, so that's about the space here. We can say that electrons will move faster, or electron will move slower there. And because of that, those electron move slower here. Okay, this is the electron will move slower because of that retarded field. This is because of that retarded by this RF field. So they will provide that energy. Okay, so we can say that electron provide that is about, we can say that energy to this RF field, and because of that the oscillation takes place. And to achieve that oscillation, whatever the RF losses present in this particular system and RF oscillation energy generated, if those are balanced, in that case we will get that stable oscillation. Okay, we will get that stable oscillation. And then for the from the one of the cavity, we will use here, it's about a cavity, we can use a loop here. Okay, we can use a coupling loop to extract the output from the cavity there. Simply, so this one is about a probe is inserted inside this particular cavity, and this probe, or you can say coaxial coupling here, and through this particular probe we can extract. Okay, we will extract the output. Okay, we can take the output from this particular cavity. That is about the output we can take it from this particular cavity. So now and then we can say that we have the field. Okay, if there is the absence of the field. Okay, now in the absence of an electric field, suppose the electron will move in a what? A circular path. Okay, in an absence of what? There is a what you can say that the about a present of a this particular two field. Okay, electric. If, okay, what happens? If there is no electric field, only magnetic field is present. So due to the magnetic field, electron will move from the cathode and return back to the cathode. So electron will move in a circular path. This is about it. Electron will move in a circular path. If there is a absence of an electric field, and if there is a both the field, electric field as well as the magnetic field, then force exerted on the electron is nothing but this one is about a force. And that magnetic field is in what direction? That is about with this the particular direction. This is about your magnetic field. In this particular direction, there is a magnetic field. Now we consider that here for some particular condition. So we can say that a here is some we apply the some voltage to the cathode and anode here. So now if that applied voltage is V is equal to what? V0. In that case, your magnetic field will be a B0. Okay. So it is just like what you can say that those electrons, okay, just graze the anode. Okay. So just you can say that about it. That is about the electron will move into this particular from this particular cathode. And if we can say that if we say that B0 is greater than the BC, that is about we can say a cutoff magnetic field. Okay, if B if B0 is greater than the BC, and that happen for a whatever the given value of the B0 there. In that case, what happen? That electron will not reach to the anode. Electron will not reach to the anode. The condition is that if B0 is greater than the BC for V0, in that case what happens? Electron will not reach to the anode there. But if we consider that if V0 is less than the Vc for a given B0 value, okay, if the V0 is less than the Vc, in that case electron will not reach the anode. Okay, electron will not reach the anode. So means we need to learn about and this value of this Vc is nothing but what? A cutoff voltage. Cutoff voltage, and that Vc is not is nothing but what about a cutoff magnetic, okay, cutoff magnetic field. Okay, and this this we can say that this cutoff voltage and cutoff magnetic field we can consider that a Hull cutoff magnetic field and Hull cutoff voltage. We can say that is about Hull cutoff. So to provide the okay, to get the sustained oscillation there, so we should know that what will be the value of this B0, okay, what will be the magnetic field and what will be the voltage given to this particular that cathode array anode. So if this condition is that, but V0 is greater than the BC, but V0 is constant, so electron will not reach the anode. If V0 is less than the Vc, whatever the cutoff voltage there is less than the V0, and that this one is a constant, so again electron will not reach the anode. So when it will reach to the anode, so B0 is more than the BC, as well as that BC again is more than the BC. So then that case that your electron will move to the anode. So we find out at what will be the oscillations occur and what are the various resonance modes. So if you see here, these are the alternating cavities. Okay, these are the alternating cavities. So because of the alternating cavities, your magnetic flux passing through these cavities and this flux is parallel to this particular cathode. But these are the alternating RF magnetic flux. Okay, so that's why. So we can say that because of that alternating RF magnetic flux line, this plus minus changes there. Next, okay, so in next turn that will be changes. So electron will move from this cathode to the anode, they will reach, and then oscillation takes place. So that oscillation we'll see later. Okay, we'll come back to this later. Now this, because of that alternating RF field, so what happened? So because of that, that electron will move from this cathode to the anode. That's why we draw here simple. It's about the cavity. We consider this type of cavity to understand. Okay, so actually even number. Okay, so we can consider that. Okay, so we can consider that even number. Now, if there are the n number of a cavities, if there are the n number of a cavities present, so then what happened there? So that n, due to the n number of a cavities, so our equivalent circuit, if you draw that equivalent circuit for this n number of cavity is what? This one. So this one is about, you can say, C dash. L C is a constant for the given cavity, and this is about a C dash and L is one. So if there is a n resonant coupled cavity of the anode, so that what happened, because of that n resonant cavity, there will be a n resonant frequency, n resonant cavities. Okay, n number of resonant cavities. So that's why it has a n number of a resonant frequencies there. So so n resonant frequencies means what? Your magnetron will operate in a n resonant frequency mode. Okay, it will operate in a n resonant frequency mode. And this low wave structure, if you see that, this one is nothing but a slow wave structure, and this low wave structure is a closed. So that's why the total phase shift around this particular periphery is nothing but what? Integral multiple of a twice pi. Then and then oscillation takes place. So that's why the phase shift between that adjacent cavities, okay, phase shift between the adjacent cavity is nothing but what? A twice pi n divided by, for the adjacent cavities, okay, phase shift will be what? A twice pi n by n. And this n is nothing but what? A number of cavities there. This capital N is nothing but number of cavities. And this n is nothing but what? It indicates that nth mode of a oscillation. Nth mode of a oscillation. N will not be equal to 0. You start from 1, 2, 3, okay, likewise, up to n by 2. Okay, so n will not be 0 there. Okay. So if n will be 0, then what happens? So there is a 0 RF field. Okay, so there is field RF field. Okay, that's why we can consider that. So that phi is about your phase, because the total periphery is about a twice pi there. Okay, this one total periphery is about a twice pi, and that's about the number of nth mode there. Okay, this is about nothing but a nth mode of a oscillation occur. And because of that, electron interact in the given field, so energy will be RF field. That's why the energy will be transferred to the RF field. So we will get that a mode there. So to get the, okay, so we will consider that here generally every cavity is having that opposite phase. Every cavity is having that opposite phase, and because of that opposite phase in the cavity, excitation is a maximum in the cavities when what happens? Pi is nothing but what? A pi. Okay, whatever the excitation occurs inside this particular cavity, when that pi will become a pi. So in general case, what happens? That uh, when that pi will be a pi, n will be what? N by 2. When this pi will be a pi, in that case n will be a n by 2. In that case, a pi mode of oscillation will take place. So that in that case, a maximum oscillation will be taken. So that's why most of the magnetron will work in a pi mode of a oscillation. Okay, so that's why we can say that most of the oscillations are that most of the magnetrons work in a pi mode of a oscillation. So what we can say that is about a pi mode of a operation. That is about the mode of a operation of a particular, what we can say. That is about a magnetron. But generally, what happens to obtain the pi mode of the operation? It is difficult. Why it is difficult? Because for every excitation cavity, so we will reach that whatever the every alternating cavities, the maximum excitation will be possible. Okay, that's about for every cavity, a maximum excitation is possible. So generally, what happens for this particular cavity? So because of that maximum excitation, so excitation, that mode will be jumped. Okay. So whenever we separating the mode from the given particular magnetron, what happened that the frequency of mode, whatever the mode frequency will be there, that will be jumped from the one mode to the another mode. Okay, that frequency will be jumped from the one mode to the another. So that's why the separation of pi mode. Okay, so to obtain the separation of a pi mode, so we can use strapping because this one is about a C, and so to sustain the oscillation, so we need to use a strapping. So strapping means what? This one is about your cavity there. So strapping means what? Here we can use a again some particular strapping that is will be a plus and minus, so that this C will be a okay that whatever the C we are changing, that capacitance C at each slot, okay, at a given particular resonant cavity, okay, so that will be changes there, and so that's why because of that changes in that particular C, so that will lower the modes of the operation there. So we can consider that a ring, okay, these are nothing but the ring, and that ring is connected to the even number mode, and another ring will connect it to the odd number mode, and because of that, a pi mode will be okay. Because due to this, pi mode will be achieved there, and because of that pi mode, higher adjacent mode or higher mode will be occurred. Now that how this oscillation occurs inside this particular cavity. So what happened that electron emits from the cathode. Okay, so I will just draw the diagram here. Okay, I have one more diagram with me. Is it visible now? Okay. So now this is nothing but a cathode. This one is a cathode. So electron emits from the cathode. What will happen? Because of no electric field, so electron will bend. Because of only no electric field, only magnetic field is there. No electric field. In the presence of a magnetic field, electron will move in a cycloidal path and they will return to the cathode. Okay, they will return to the cathode. Now what happened that, but when some of the electron, okay, so that some of the electrons will emit from the cathode and they will travel toward the anode. And because of that, they travel to the anode, there will be influence of what? Influence of that electric field as well as the influence of the magnetic field. So that's why force will be what? Force is equal to what? Total force on the electron is nothing but F is equal to minus E plus B cross B. Both are the V. That P is the velocity of this and B velocity of the electron, and B is nothing but what? That is about a magnetic field. So that velocity of electron in a this interaction space, that is from the anode to the cathode. Okay, so cathode to the anode. And this one is nothing but the cavity. This one is nothing but the cavity. You can say that this one is about your cavity here. Okay, you can just see here, this is nothing but a cavity, and this is, we can say that is about the anode. Just to understand that how it works. Okay, so we just consider that this one is about your anode and a cathode. Now, when electron will emit, okay, when the electron will emit from this cathode, they will reach to the whatever the RF field. Now, just if that DC magnetic field, okay, DC magnetic field means what? If the DC magnetic field exceeds to the cutoff value, okay, DC magnetic field exceeds to that cutoff value, so then what happened that electron will try to return back. Okay, electron will try to return back to the cathode in absence of the RF. Okay, in absence of the RF. If that magnetic field is high, if the magnetic field is high, in absence of an electric field, cycloidal path will be there. The electron will return back to the RF. Now, so what happened here? Okay, so electron will return back, and now in an absence of the in an absence of that electric field, electron will return back. So what happened that there will be a force exerted on this electron is only what F is equal to what minus E V cross B. Okay, that's about the only the force adjusting is depending upon that minus V. Okay, minus E into V cross B, and then the electron will reduces their velocity. Electron will reduces their velocity, and because of that reduce of the electron velocity, what happened that electron will that they will reach to the anode. Okay, so those electrons moving in the field there due to the whatever the RF if there is no RF field, they will return back. If there is the RF field is present, the electron will experience a force of electric field as well as the magnetic field. Okay, if there is a RF field and magnetic field, then that electron will be accelerated and decelerated. So some of those electron will be accelerated. Suppose this is about our electron B here, so they will be accelerated in a RF field. Okay, in a accelerated, what will happen? They will move faster and they will return back to the return back to the whatever the cathode there. Okay, the electron will return back to the cathode, and the electron will be retarded. Okay, those who are electron, this is about acceleration. So electron will move in a retarding field. Okay, in a retarding electric field. So what will happen? That electron will move toward the anode there. So retarded electron experiences a force that is nothing but what we can say electric field as well as the magnetic field there, and they reduces their velocity. They reduces their velocity. Likewise, they will reduces their velocity, and they will move. Okay, reduces their velocity and they will reach to the anode there. Now this whatever the velocity there, okay, whatever the velocity of the electron moving from this cathode to the anode, they take approximately